or the board as a whole. The presiding member of the township board, members of the board, and the township manager may ask questions of any individual addressing the board. Public comment is not a question and answer period. It provides individuals an opportunity to express their comments regarding any subject matter. All comments shall be directed only to the presiding member of the township board. No person may address or question board members individually. The board will not respond to comments made during the public comment period unless it becomes necessary to ask a clarifying question, correct factual error, or provide specific factual information. The presiding member of the township board may interrupt, warn, or terminate an individual's presentation when the individual presentation exceeds 3 minutes or is personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. The request that an individual leave, that individual does not want to observe reasonable forum. With that, public comment is now open. I'd like to make public comment. Come forward. Yeah. You know the routine.
I'm going to introduce myself. I'm George Cross.
The secretary. See if the microphone is on. There's a little switch right at the top there, right here.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go.
My name is George Cross. I lived in Spalding Township for 37 years. I currently live in Bridgeport Township the last 13 years, and I had 3 kids that graduated from Bridgeport High School. I'm here speaking for myself and my neighbors on Norwood Road to get the status of the motorcycle track, and we'd like to know if there's any progress being made to help us. Since we were here last month, the track has been expanded. They're making it more things there. We've had several calls to 911 the last month, and I'm sure the police are aware of it. When they show up, they quit. When they leave, they start making noise, dust, so on. Tonight there was something going on there. There was an accident. We just hope nobody got hurt with that crew. It was just a matter of time when it had happened with the way they act over there. But I'd like to know how we stand at this time. That's all I have to say.
Chief Smeagol did respond to an occurrence there this afternoon.
Yes.
Fire rescue did.
Yes.
As far as an update, Dave, do you have anything?
Just that I know our officers did observe a violation, they did issue a citation, and it's in the court process. I have not heard when that court date has been set yet, but I know that it's in the court process.
Adriana?
So I've been trying to look into some external resources that could help us potentially with this issue. So I've been in contact with MSU Extension as well as the Michigan Association of Planning. I can tell you from my conversations over the past week with the Michigan Association of Planning that they reached a number of the same conclusions that we did in terms of ways to find a solution for this. I am still in ongoing discussion with the MSU Extension. We had a good conversation on Friday, but we need to continue the conversation this week. I would be happy if you want to come in and meet with me. I could get into the details of some of the potential solutions that I've been discussing with both of these entities.
Thank you. That's what we need for. Thanks for your time.
No problem, anytime. You're welcome. Anyone else like to make public comment?
Hello, my name is Michelle McBride. I'm the senior fellow for Bridgeport Charter Township. And I just want to give an update of the progress that we're making towards our RRC certification. We're doing really well, completing the best practices 3. with our economic development strategies. We should be working on best practices 5. And I also just want to commend this board for going through the CIP training last month, as far as all of the hard work that this board has done, as well as the department heads of Bridgeport, to make sure that we have a capital improvement plan for the next 6 years. And an update on the CAC, we're getting ready, and we have yard signs out. Some of the residents have put yard signs out for the millage of the new township building. And we just love to just admonish the board to, in any way, to assist the CAC to make sure that we get all the signs out and door knockers and things of that nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to make public comment? Again? One more time? Public comment closed. Yeah, as far as your situation on Dorwood, it's just frustrating to us because there's many of those situations that we try and correct and we run up against legal aspects of it, things that we can't do. Just give you an example, we have some people that have tall grass year after year after year, and we go out and mow it, cost them $100. And I came up with a brilliant idea one time, and said, okay, we charge $100, and the second time we have to go, let's charge them $150, and then $200 to $250. Well, I found out it wasn't quite as brilliant as I thought it was, because you could legally only charge them what it costs, period. Now, I know a lot of residents get frustrated about that, but again, our hands are tied in a lot of legal aspects. I know some people, over the past, had a couple of people that got on the board, and because they were going to come in and change a whole lot of things, and that's fine. And once they arrive and they realize that they're having the same frustrations that we have when we try and do some of these things, it's not as quite as simple as we would like it to be. Okay. Moving around. Presentation, mid-report, new business. Under new business, we have resolution R22-12 capital improvement plan, 2023 through 2029.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution R22-12 capital improvement plan from 2023 to 2029 as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Any comment? Basically, for those of you who may not be aware, it was a gathering of the department heads, and this is normal every year in a budget year, when you try and project what you're going to need next year, the following year, and that kind of stuff. Most businesses work that way. And so that was put together, the capital improvement plan. And it's not a solid document. It's not locked in stone. As times go on, if things change, then that document gets changed. So it's just kind of a roadmap of things we'd like to do. And department heads need and that kind of thing. It all depends on funding and those kind of things are factors. Sometimes other things come up and become more important than what's on that list. So, could we have a roll call, please?
Adams, absent. Baker,
Yes.
Townsend,
Yes.
Carpenter, yes. Secord? Yes. Williams, absent. Thayer? Yes.
Next, we have a resolution R 22-13, National Incident Management System, acronym NIMS.
I'll make a motion to approve R 22-13 National Incident Management System as presented.
I'll support that.
Motion made and supported. Basically, it's Homeland Security, and it's a national type thing where they report things. And you have to pass a resolution to become participating in. Basically, that's what it's about. There's, excuse me, there's information online, if you were to go online to Google NIMS. You're curious what it's all about. It's just a tracking system nationwide for all kinds of bad things that could be happening, so. You have a roll call, please.
Thayer,
Yes.
Townsend,
Yes.
Carpenter, yes. Secord,
Yes.
Adams is absent. Williams, absent. And Baker.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have resolution R 22-14, Waste Management Member Agreement and Contract.
I make a motion to approve the 10-year waste management member agreement and contract as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. This is the contract with Waste Management. All the participating townships were involved with this. They're going to be changing over their systems. We don't have much of a choice in that. Where they're going to be issuing, if any of you were at board meetings, they brought in some of these barrels and stuff, but it's just a new system. It'll be implemented gradually starting in the spring of 2023. If you've ever seen them at various locations picking up trash with the arm that comes off, picks it up and dumps it in, that's what we're going to have. There'll be some changes, but everyone will be notified as it progresses. They've been through this in other communities, so they're not like new to it. So, but they had to have, don't remember now, 34,000 stops within that group to set the price that they did. Otherwise, it was going to cost more money something. I don't have that total from memory, but that's the way the process is. Anyone else? Would have a roll call on that too, please.
Williams, absent. Adams, absent. Townsend,
Yes.
Carpenter, yes. Baker,
Yes.
Secord, yes. Thayer,
Yes.
Okay, next we have the property bid for 2135 Williamson Road.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid for $150 from Reed Sobel for parcel 09-11-5-06-2009-00, 2135 Williamson Road.
This is the little sliver right at the corner. He owns the rest of it. Very involved in the rest of it.
I'll support that.
Motion made and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. Okay, each year we, this time we're asked about the trick or treat hours. You know, we need a motion on that. Bridgeport Township trick or treat hours are going to be October 31st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And just a little plug for them now, down at the historical village, there's going to be a trunk or treat that evening. And if you want to participate, you're asked to contact the whoever's ordering that date. Pardon me?
Chamber, huh?
No,
No.
that's it.
Sue, okay.
Whoever's handling, get a hold of them. It's on our electronic sign. So. Next we have accounts table.
I'll make a motion to approve checks number 70172 through 70268 in the amount of $347,561.12 as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded, and everyone had a chance to review each two. Any questions at all? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Then we have police department report.
Good evening. I don't have the numbers for you for September from 911 yet. They have a little bit of an issue with their system. I can let you know we're responding to 738 calls for the month of August. And again, those don't include calls that just come from our front desk, but our actual calls. And then, excuse me, I just want to take a second to recognize the great job that our school resource officer, Dan Hernandez, is doing in the schools. If you recall, we signed a contract with the schools to put Dan right in the school as a school resource officer. I'm sure everybody's seen on the media, September 22nd, we had an incident there with Dan responding, our uniform investigator, myself, had great response. We had Bridgeport Fire assisting us. The teachers did a great job. We got on scene, we helped to stop the injuries and take those that are responsible into custody. And both those guys are instrumental in the work they're doing to make that happen. Also recently, September 28th, we had an armed robbery. Within 24 hours, our investigator was able to do a great job. Together, we had a little bit of information to go on, work with the officers, they were able to find the suspect. They had him locked up in less than 24 hours. So you guys are doing a great job. You may notice got a little scruff going on. It is October. Officer Janicki is doing the fundraiser again, No Shave October, November. So we're raising money for a local family for Christmas again for that. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch up to Ron next month at all. So, and then we just found out today, next Tuesday, we're going to be assisting the school with the homecoming parade. So you'll see some traffic being backed up next Tuesday at 5:30. Be going from St. Francis, the regular route down Williamson State to Baker and up there at for the homecoming parade. At least we were sad that we had to cancel that the day after the little incident there, so at least we're able to do that again. They're going to have a powder puff game afterwards, and I think they're going to do the crowning of the homecoming king at that time. So we'll be happy to be part of that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dave. Chief Spiegel.
Good evening. The Bridgeport Fire Department responded to 127 calls for the month of September, and we are currently up to 1,095 calls as of 5 o'clock today for the year 2022. Our firefighters are starting to get involved heavily in these coming weeks with fire prevention. This is Fire Prevention Month, and next week, more particularly, is Fire Prevention Week. So I'll just put a little plug, make sure you go back, check your smoke detectors, change out your batteries and such. Smoke detectors should be in older than 10 years of age before you replace them, and practice fire safety. Our firefighters will be going to the schools, as I just said. We'll start seeing them out and about, starting with the Millette Center next week, where we get a chance to have 250 special needs students that will be able to come out, see the truck up close, meet with the firefighters, and it's always kind of a very moving thing to be able to have those kids be able to relate with the firefighters and that equipment. And then we'll also be going to many of the other schools and organizations. We're going to be also involved in a lot of Halloween-related events. The trunk or treat, for example, we always help kids cross Dixie Highway, which is quite an endeavor when we have several kids darting in and around when that starts to get dark. Not all the drivers necessarily see them or slow down, so it's very helpful to have firefighters there to control traffic, use the traffic light to their advantage, and just kind of be visible. You'll also see our safety trailer about in other communities. Our safety trailer is one of very few in the area, so other fire departments borrow it to use in their events. It'll be at Birch Run Schools next Monday. It'll be at Frankenmuth Credit Union Frankenmuth in a couple weekends. It'll be at the racetrack for the Halloween event that they have out there next week or a couple weeks from now. So you'll start seeing our equipment out and about, whether it's our firefighters or others using the trailer. Our firefighters will also be involved this coming weekend in a large joint exercise with several of our neighbors, Buena Vista, Spalding, and Birch Run. We'll all be going to a training facility and we'll be working together, working on large and small scale fire incidents. And it'll give an opportunity for the departments to intermix with each other and operate as like units, even though you might not be all from the same fire department, they'll all operate together, which is how we usually operate when we have fires in our community. So it's critical to allow us to train together as much as our individual departments do train our own respective training schedules. So we'll be partaking in that here soon. So that's all I have for this evening. Everybody be safe.
Thank you, Dave. Adriana, do you have anything?
Yes, so just to reiterate, Maria already mentioned, Saturday is October 17th, there was a joint training session between the Township Board, Planning Commission, and the ZBA, and it was held on capital improvement plans. It was well attended with 5 members of the Township Board there, along with members from the other commissions. I was going to touch on the Dorwood dirt track, but we've already touched on that earlier tonight. So another item that I'd like to mention is BSNA online permitting. So in about 1 month, applicants should have the ability to submit building, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing permit applications online. Applicants will also be able to pay for permits online using credit cards and be able to schedule their inspections online. We do hope that this will improve our customer service and decrease the workload of the building department. It also has the additional advantage of, and I hope this doesn't ever happen again, but if we ever find ourselves in a pandemic situation with COVID and we have to close the building for whatever reason, that would allow us to continue offering those services online, even if people cannot come in and do business face-to-face. I also wanted to thank our police and fire departments for their hard work, dedication, and swift responses over the past month as the community's dealt with some serious incidents. And then I did want to mention, since it was brought up a little bit ago, that in addition to the Historic Society trunk or treat, the Chamber is also doing a trunk or treat. That one is on October 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Birch Run Speedway. Thanks.
Thank you. Board comment, Roberta?
Just a big thank you to the police department and fire department for what could have been a huge incident in Bridgeport. Good job, guys.
Joe?
No comment.
Lee?
I just want to comment again about the CIP training that we had. It was a great meeting. A lot of learning stuff, and had a good time. Interact with the board members like we don't get to do here at the table. So it's a good meeting.
Kim?
I'd like to address you folks here and tell you that our building and codes guy came up with 3 or 4 really good ideas, sent them to me in email. We set out to check the legalities of those things. I got excited at first. They were all shut down. You guys have mostly known me my whole life, and you've also known that I'm the furthest thing from a politician in the world. And if this was, if the same event was happening in any one of our own backyards right now, or by my house over on Riverview, there is not one more thing that we can legally do about it. I hope that you guys understand that we have dove into this as hard as we can. By no means are we giving up, but it has to be legal. And please don't, you guys are great residents and good taxpayers. I don't want to see any of you give up. I heard rumor, Mr. Cross, that maybe you were thinking about packing up and moving out, and I don't want to see that. Just try and buy us a little more time. We're doing everything we can. Please, guys, we really are. So that's all I have tonight.
Thanks. A couple issues that I want to address. Seems that some people are spreading misinformation relative to the village itself and whether we own this building and all that kind of stuff. Now this has been explained a couple of times at meetings, and apparently those people didn't pay a lot of attention when it was explained to them. And one individual in particular was explained in this building to the nth degree, if you will, and still, if you go on Facebook, and I don't do that, even though some people seem to think that I do, there anyway. But my wife does. Occasionally she'll mention something to me, and yeah, it's awfully frustrating. People accusing us of lying to them about not having bought this building. Okay? That is absolutely not true in the respect of what they try and imply that it is. Okay? So what happened is when we moved here, the church was nice enough to let us move in here. We went up and down Dixie Highway. We tried to figure out something to accommodate our employees. They worked at the top of the fire department for 6 months, and some in a little corner in the water department. And we had an opportunity to move down here. And they met with Rose and I at the time and agreed that we could move in here. And when we did, we had to pay a minimal amount, okay? Now, at that time, they didn't figure we were going to be around that long, so it wasn't a big issue as far as the members of their board of directors, whatever. So as time went on, they came to us and said, look, our board of directors is getting on us because they have a loan that they were paying, and we weren't paying enough to cover that loan, okay? So a formal agreement was drawn up where we were going to lease it, okay? Now, I think most of you understand that if the church and their properties are not taxed, okay? A government entity is not taxed, the property, okay? But after the first year, all of a sudden we got a note from the Treasury Department that because we were living here, if you will, and it was not a church function, the church was going to have to pay property tax on this property. And that was a little over $18,000 a year, okay? Now, guess who would have had to pay that? Us, the taxpayers, all right? So what happened is we got with their attorneys and our attorney, and they contacted the people that held the loan and that kind of stuff. So, yes, we came into an agreement on a land contract, okay? Now, when you're on a land contract, I think most of you realize that, I don't need to explain that to most of you, is you do not own that property. You are in the process of buying that property, and you don't own it until you pay the whole thing off. Well, by doing that, the taxes didn't have to be paid. So the $18,000 that the taxpayers would have had to pay, we saved them $18,000. And when you're on a land contract, if you know somebody bought a house maybe in a land contract, all of a sudden they decide they don't want it anymore, they just pick up and move, there's no harm, no foul. They don't throw anybody in jail, they don't fine them, they don't do anything, that just ends it right there. So that's what the status is right now. Now, I guess the only thing I can ask is if you hear those, nonsense going through the township, because some people, all just people apparently don't have enough time on their hands but to spread information that is not true. They don't bother checking, they don't bother asking anyone. We are here all the time. My phone number, you can get it from anybody to my cell phone. I'll be more than happy to talk to anybody, as will any board member here will. But I find it pathetic that if you want to make a statement that you don't like the idea of building in the building, fine. But if you're gonna lie about it, stretch the truth, that is really sad, particularly when it's been explained to you from every direction. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.